Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for chapter 6 part 2 Civics, the Judiciary. In this video we are going to discuss about Lok Adalats, legal aid, functions of the judiciary, branches of the legal system. In this we have criminal law, civil law. Then we have people's accessibility to the court. So these are some of the important topics which we are going to discuss in this video. So here we will start with the topic Lok Adalats. As you know, as per the today's system, the system which exists in our country, according to that, the Indian courts take unusually long time to decide cases. It takes really long times to get a decision from the court. Also, with this, the parties which are involved in the dispute, they need to spend lots of money. So here you can see it takes long time, with this a lots of money. So wastage of time and wastage of money both is there. So to reduce the time and the expenditure, a system has been started recently in our country, and that system is Lok Adalats. Now in this system, the cases are decided speedily and without much expenditure. So it reduces the time and expenditure. The first Lok Adalat was held in Delhi in 1985. In that Lok Adalat, 150 cases were decided in a single day. You can have a look to the picture of this Lok Adalat. It reduced the time and expenditure. So next topic is legal aid. So it is a scheme, legal aid scheme. Under this, free legal services are made available to the weaker sections of the society. In this system, the persons who are included are scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women, children, mentally ill and disabled person, and other economically poor people. So for these weaker sections of the society, we have legal aid scheme, and under this free legal services are made available. Now we have the topic functions of the judiciary. What are the functions of the judiciary? So our judiciary performs many functions. So we will discuss about them. So it resolves dispute between citizens, between citizen and the government, between two or more states, and between the center and the state government. Also, The judiciary is the final interpreter of the constitution. That means it has power to reject particular laws which is passed by the parliament. If parliament passes a law and the judiciary feels that these laws are a violation of the basic structure of the constitution, they can reject that particular law. So they have power to reject the law if they believe that it is violating the basic structure of constitution. So they are the final interpreter of the constitution. And the process is called judicial review. If parliament passes a law and judiciary feels that they believe that the law is violation of the basic structure of the constitution, they can reject it, and this is called judicial review. Now the judiciary upholds the law and enforces fundamental rights. So any citizen of the country can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. So these are some of the important functions of the judiciary. Now we have branches of the legal system. So there are mainly two branches of the legal system: criminal law and civil law. So the law which relates to the crime against society, that is called criminal law. Like you have cases of theft, robbery, physical injury or murder. They are all the criminal cases. So whatever law we have related to the criminal cases, those are called criminal law. That means any crime against society, if any law is relating to that, that is criminal law. Now the criminal law deals with the conduct or acts that the law defines as offenses. What kind of offenses? We have example like murder, robbery, harassing a woman for dowry, etc. All these will come under the criminal law. The criminal law cases usually begins with the lodging of a FIR with the police. FIR should be lodged with the police, and the full form of FIR is First Information Report. After putting this FIR, the police investigates the crime, and after that a case is filed in the court. If the accused is found guilty, he or she can be sent to jail and also fined. So basically, if you see, the criminal law starts with the first information report. When a first information report or FIR is lodged with the police, the criminal law case starts. Then we have civil law. So the cases which concern property, contracts damage to goods in transit by railways or others of this kind are called civil cases. Now, what are the main features of this civil law? It deals with any harm or injury to rights of individuals, like land disputes, disputes related to purchase of goods, rent matters, divorce, etc. That all will go in the civil law case. Now, only the affected party can file a petition before the relevant court. If there is a matter of rent, either the landlord or the tenant can file a case. Also, the court can give specific relief to the party. For example, the court can give order to tenant to vacate the building and to pay the pending rent. So, this kind of things will be dealt under the civil law. Then we have people's accessibility to the court. Now, if people feel that their rights have been violated, they can approach the court. They can go to the court. But in practice, it is very difficult to access court for a vast majority of the poor in India. Why? Because the legal procedure which we have, it takes a lot of time and money. Also, it takes a lot of paperwork, which is not possible for the poor people, the people who are there in majority in India. How they will bring that amount of money, how they will spend a lot of time over these things. So it is not possible for them. It is very difficult for them to access the court. To increase the access to justice, the Supreme Court in early 1980s introduced a legal mechanism which is called public interest litigation or PIL. It is public interest litigation or PIL has been introduced so that people can easily access to justice, and like this there will be increase in the access to justice. So what are the features of this PIL? Any individual or organization can file a PIL in High Court or Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights have been violated. The legal process is very simple. Even a letter or telegram address to the Supreme Court or the High Court can be treated as a PIL. You can do it through a letter also or a telegram also. Now, the midday meal which children receive in government schools, that is a result of PIL. How? In 2001, because of the drought in Rajasthan and Odisha, millions of people faced shortage of food. That time the government godowns were full of grains, which were often eaten by the rats. So if you see, at one hand there was shortage of food because of the drought, People were not getting food, and on the other hand, the government was storing the grains in the godowns which were eaten by the rats. So the organization, which was called People's Union of Civil Liberties, they filed a PIL in Supreme Court, which advocated that the fundamental right to life guaranteed in Article 21 of the Constitution, which includes the right to food. Now, the Supreme Court ruled that the state had a duty to provide food to all. And Supreme Court directed the government to provide the food at cheaper prices through the government ration shops and to provide midday meals to children. So like this, the judiciary plays a significant role in democratic India. Actually, it is a check on the powers of executive and the legislature. If the executive and legislatures fail to do their work properly, the judiciary has right to order them, to give an order to them so that they can work properly, as you have just seen in the case of midday meal. Here the executives fail to work properly, and the legislature and the judiciary has taken the responsibility, and it has ordered the state to do to fulfill their duty. So like this, it protects the fundamental rights of the citizen. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.